I'm joined right now by a highly respected cosmetic surgeon for dogs. He's Dr. Bill Canute. Dr. Canute, welcome to the show. How did you get into the whole dog cosmetic surgery business?
Well, I was originally trained as a vet, and when the recession hit a couple of years ago, I got kind of strapped for bucks and got involved in some plastic surgery with humans. But you know, I could tell after a few months of that they were nothing but headaches. I mean, so I started doing plastic surgery on the dogs instead. I mean, they're happy whatever you do.
Yeah, sure. What are some of the common operations you might perform on a pooch?
Well, I mean, I got some things that I kind of pioneered myself. You know, a dog is healthy when their nose is wet, and some dogs have dry noses. I went through all kinds of stuff, you know, water, Vaseline, shoe polish, all that stuff, and finally I hit on a lacquer formula that looks real nice. And then, you know, the Chinese Shar-Peis, dogs with all those wrinkles in them. Yeah, it scares some people and makes them look a lot older before their time. So I do facelifts on those. Wonderful. Very, very successful. And let's see, Kim Bassinger brought her dog in. Needed collagen injections in the lips. She wanted the lips to look like her lips so that they looked, you know, right together out on the street. Oh, there's another thing I pioneered. It's dogs that have tails that just kind of go limp.
Right.
It's a problem. So I invented a system where I put pipe cleaner inside the tail, and then I could form it into, you know, like into shapes, you know, like the master's name. Or like a stick figure representation of the master, that sort of thing. Kind of like the balloons that people make into dogs.
Oh, that's groundbreaking.
Yeah, thanks. You know, there's some other things too. You want to hear any more?
Tummy tucks?
All right, yeah. Oh, I do tummy tucks, yeah. Basset hounds have a particular problem with tummy tucks, especially after they've been pregnant. And you may not be aware of this, there's a lot of videos out now for that problem, but there aren't any for dogs.
Yeah, no.
And I tried, you know, like showing dogs how to do sit-ups, but they fall over. Yeah. You know, they're not built for it. You know.
You did something with a Saint Bernard.
Yeah, that was quite an operation. It took about 12 hours to complete. This was a Saint Bernard that weighed about 210 pounds to start, big dog. Sure. And it was a little old lady that owned him, and it was just too much for her. And she really wanted a Chihuahua, but she was attached to the dog by this point, you know. So I did some very drastic liposuction on the dog, and he ended up 10 pounds. Oh. And the 200 pounds of fat really it was interesting. I got a lot of inquiries from the Twinkies people.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Well, let's not talk too much about that.
Okay.
What are some of the stranger operations you may have done with dogs?
Well, you know Gene Shalit from the Today Show?
Gene Shalit, the movie critic.
Yeah, that's right. He has a little Mexican hairless that he wanted it to have hair. So we devised an operation where we actually took plugs from his mustache and covered the entire dog with his hair. Took great. There was no rejection problem at all. I was surprised myself. Yeah. And you couldn't even tell you took anything from his mustache. There was so much to start.
And he's got a lot there.
Oh, yeah.
And what about the Dachshund, the wiener dog?
Yeah, this was a kind of an interesting case. I was awakened in the middle of the night in a darkened room, and ushered by total strangers to the airport, and I was flown down on a small engine plane to Argentina. I found myself in another darkened room with a man who spoke with a German accent, and he said he had a Dachshund, and that it needed to be shortened by about 6 inches because it was just a little bit too obvious when he was out in public. It attracted too much attention. So I removed 6 inches off the Dachshund, and you know, and I still have that back.
That sounds like a movie script, huh?
Yeah. Thanks for the idea.
Lassie, what's that all about?
Well, I think it's time to speak the truth on this area. There have been 7 Lassies down through the years, and they've all been males.
Oh.
And by the time they hit it big, they weren't males anymore.
It's very disturbing. Have you had any lawsuits placed against you?
Yeah, there have been a few nuisance suits, you know. I mean, Gene Shalit, for instance, I mean, he claims that his Mexican hairless turned out looking more like Willard Scott than him. And I don't agree at all. Yeah. It's completely unfounded. And yeah, it was a case of a Doberman, was a guard dog, had a kind of a weak chin, and he wasn't really too intimidating, so he wanted a chin implant, and I did the chin implant, and they claim that it migrated from his chin down to the Adam's apple area, and so it built up the Adam's apple area instead, and that he looked more like Goofy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the case. I have pictures to prove it. And then there was a pit bull that wanted a refinement of the snout, which I gave her, and there were no problems. Everything went smooth and everything. But then I started hearing stuff that it was being treated like a sissy, and the mailman was laughing at it. And so I mean, I don't believe it, but you get these kind of cases sometimes. Yeah, there have been cases like that.
Fraternity suits?
Yeah, I guess you heard about that. Yeah, there's a particular, well, kind of an attractive French poodle who claims, and of course I countersued right away, because I mean I had a bad case of the mange, and then there's a little fox terrier neighbor of mine that's now suing me, claiming that I gave that dog the mange. I mean, well, we're just friendly. So there's some of those little nuisances, but I never go to court. That just proves that I haven't done anything wrong.
Sure. Yeah, I would imagine.
I never had to go to court.
Doctor, you're a man at the top of your field, and I do have great respect for you and your work. And keep it up. You're a pioneer in this business, and you're a selfless man, too, at that. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks.